welcome back to another vlog. Today, what do we have today? We have 2 oil changes on the schedule, 1 maintenance kit, so there'll be some b-roll there. I do know the XDI is stopping by today, so there should be a ton of footage there, catching up with them, seeing what's up with them. I haven't met them in person. Josh and Ricky have, Bobby hasn't either, so it's gonna be cool. Probably some footage there too, but yeah, let's get to
Back to the basics, been a lot of things, but I never been basic. Run around bases, came from the basement, never been shameless. So I got stay in the streets, get dangerous.
This car is getting a maintenance kit and an oil change, so let's get to it.
Claiming, like what you claiming, what you saying, what you bout and what you need. I'm at the house, ain't at the club, I'm really chilling with my seat.
Alright, me and Bob just finished this car, and the team from XDI is here. They dropped off some goodies. Make sure to show you guys a little bit of what we got. I honestly don't know, so we'll look at it together. Hopefully they can explain to us what exactly we got. I know we got injectors for a ST.
With my friend.
Yeah.
Do you know about this race car?
The Turn 14 race car?
Yeah.
Used to be? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that we converted that to the I?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah. Okay. That's like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I need to send you some links.
Yeah,
So we
for
converted.
sure.
That thing has 4 high pressure pumps and 16 high pressure injectors.
Holy shit.
Running on a Bosch Motorsport control and IT injector.
Wow.
With our friends. And then we did that was before. So it started with Coyote motor. So he did his sleeper kit. He put my fuel system on. Then we tuned his race car. And then we did the valve combined effort. Just like what you were saying, shake the people a little bit.
For sure.
ADI is actually cool. It's not
Right,
just
it ain't
annoying.
cool. Yeah.
It actually helps you. But I don't want a name.
We'll remain nameless.
Has contacted me too. Because
Really?
they were having issue in the very beginning when they put it out.
Right.
18 or whenever the
Yes,
Coyote came
of
out.
course.
I was it late
Yeah,
18 or
18
early
up.
19.
Yep.
Because they were having knock like crazy.
Right.
Because the motor
the
just
heat.
has so high, and then that's high compression from the factory.
For sure.
Yeah.
The
So
Gen
it's
3s
just-
were higher compression than the Gen 2s.
Yeah. So you
Yep.
put a little bit of boost at it, and then it wants to knock right away. So these days everybody kills it with ethanol,
Right.
but we kill it with DI. Whatever. So, but that race car is pretty cool, and that has all the cool DI shit.
Right.
Like
All the top
external
engineering.
DI. Yeah. It's like literally everything that is technically possible right now is in that car.
That's awesome.
I need to send you that. There's like 2-3 articles out there.
For right now, I would like you to explain what exactly those are,
Okay.
if that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect.
Alright, let's do it.
So we have 2 XDI pumps here, and we put the injectors to the side. This is a Mustang 2.3 EcoBoost, and that's actually what I wanted to talk to you, because the initial design that we did back in 17 was we had a custom feed line
Yes, I remember.
to make it plug and play.
Now instead of it being an AN line that you have to make the change to.
Yeah, no, we still it's still plug and play. It just comes with 2 adapters instead of with 1 custom line.
Perfect.
And at the end of the day, so this is how everybody gets it, with the stickers and all the good stuff. And then you were talking about pigtails. So since the it's actually the same plug, but it's a little short, because the connector ends up on the other side of the pump, and the factory line is so short that you can't like pull it.
Right.
So we made a little extension.
Perfect.
So this is an extension, not an adapter. So that's the actual pump, sealed. Comes with some Loctite for the bolts, and then the gimmick is these two adapters to make it plug and play.
Perfect.
So you have the high pressure outlet, and always keep the caps on. Most important thing, because they're super sensitive to dirt.
Right. You don't want anything getting in there.
Right. So the initial design had like a straight fitting here, like a quick connect, like a male one, and then you would have the adapter would be the line. And so we swapped that out, and instead of we were thinking about making like a aftermarket -6 or something.
Right.
We put the swivel fitting on here. So this actually swivels.
Beautiful.
And when it sits on the engine, whenever you put it on, you will see. You just swivel it to where it needs to be. So wherever the factory line comes, you swivel it in the right direction. And then you have this little female to female that swivels as well. And then you get this male 5/16s. And those together make it plug and play. Yeah, you rotate it where the factory line comes in. You just click it in. And then you have factory line, you have factory pressure sensor, and all that part stays factory.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's the.
And which pump is that?
That is the Mustang 2.3.
2.3, okay.
Yeah. So it's not all 2.3. I have to say Mustang, because on the Mustang it's longitudinal, and on
Okay.
the Focus RS it's transversal.
Right.
So the transversal is different. So the Focus RS pump, if there wasn't a little difference in the feed line, would also fit the other 2.3s like the Explorer 2.3.
No kidding.
Because back in the day, my wife had an Explorer 2.3.
And so you
And
tested on
we
that.
actually raced it.
No way. Sounds like someone we know. Sounds like someone we
I'm
know.
gonna buy you this car, honey. Joke's on you.
Yeah, but let's just say even after the tuning is still a turd. So this is the Mustang 2.3. This is an XDI 35.
Okay.
So that's like the original Gangstar's 36% capacity per the math, and we just rounded it down to 35.
Yeah, 36 doesn't sound as sexy, right?
No, it's I mean, yeah, we could call our injectors 22% injectors.
Right.
So it goes Evo 35, 60.
No, it's 35 Evo
35,
60.
Evo 60, 10,
And the
45.
35 is 36% more capacity, and that's what defines your actual flow. So if you
Okay.
put it on the same camshaft, it gives you 36% more capacity. And then there's efficiencies. So when you run higher pressure, the efficiency of the 35 goes down. And there's a video where I need to send you a link, I think,
Okay.
unless you have seen that, where I explain the math in a YouTube video.
Perfect.
I've charged and whatnot. And the Evo is pretty much the same piston size, so it's still 36% capacity, but we modified the pressure limiting valve. It's almost a little bit like a Walbro 450. You know the old Walbro 450?
Right.
That doesn't do more than 58 psi or so.
Right.
And then you had the 274 part number Walbro 450.
Yep.
And it suddenly does, I don't
All
know,
of
yeah, 70 psi.
Yeah, it does all.
The actual pump is the same, but if you demand 70 psi from the low pressure Walbro, it doesn't do shit because
Right.
it keeps dumping everything.
Right, because anything above that 58 is
Yeah,
it's
the
dumped.
limiting valve would just dump. The capacity feeds it, but it internally dumps it again, so it never sees the engine. And it's similar between the 35 and the Evo.
And what would be the value for someone deciding to do the Evo over the 35? They're running aftermarket camshafts. They're running bigger turbos.
It's every engine is different.
Right.
Every engine is different. At the end of the day, if you need the pressure, you can run 150 bar, 2100 psi, and at that point, so everything below 150 psi, the 35 and the Evo are almost the same.
It's
The
when you're
Evo
north
is
of-
still a little bit more efficient. There's some tiny little things that give it, I don't know, 5% or so. But the real difference comes above 150 bar, actually above 180. So the 35 starts dumping at 180 bar, 2600 psi. And you need that when you have stock injectors, for example. So 2.3, what's this, 2.3?
This was an this was a 5.
That's the Eagle? Oh, that's the 5 bar, okay. On the 2.3, when you run stock turbo, just regular bolt-ons, no bigger turbo, and you want to run E85, you max out, I want to say we made 380 or so.
Sounds about right.
Wheel. And with the Evo, we made 400. It's a small thing, but you get more with the same injectors. If you put big injectors on, it's a whole different story.
And then the Evo
Can still continue to
Yes. Yes. So the
Trajectory
Evo, you can run 250 bar, but those injectors won't handle it. That's the
Right.
next thing. So if the Evo gains pressure, but you cannot always run it because the injectors might not be able to handle it.
Right.
And that depends on where you put it. Do you put it on 2.3 EcoBoost, or even the 5.0 is a different story because those injectors are Denso injectors, 2.3 are Bosch injectors, so the different injector manufacturer types. Every injector has a different sensitivity.
For sure.
On tune back in the day, the first big thing we did is they made 680 crank engine dyno, so don't mix that up, not wheel,
Right.
but 680 crank with a 35 pump. On E30, I want to say.
No shit.
Yeah. So when you add the injectors, you can take pressure down, and that relaxes the pump.
I like
And then the 35 pump is fine.
Right.
And the idea was, instead of trying to do an Evo pump or a 60 pump and chase the pump, you choose. It's just and that's what you were saying before. If you know the products, you know what to recommend to your customers.
Right.
And you can tell them, hey, if you think about, if you consider long term to do this power number, you will need this and this and that. That's I'm pretty sure that's your daily conversation. EcoBoost guys, if they say 400 is all I need, I can't handle it anyway, they might want to do an Evo pump because that's all they need.
Right.
And then they're fine.
Right.
If you want to go past that, you need injectors anyway.
Yes.
Right.
So you don't need an Evo pump.
Right.
You can, and that's why we have in bundle 35 and injectors.
Right.
Because 35 and injectors gives you more than just an Evo.
Like it.
And then the next one is, and then you could say, okay, go to a 60 pump. It makes even more pressure, but it just gives you a couple % extra because you're still injector.
You're still limited, right?
Yes, the injectors are still limited, so you have to do injectors anyway. Okay, so this is XDI Evo for the
Okay.
Explorer ST, and that's how it comes. Stickers, all the good stuff. The Explorer ST runs 200 bar from the factory, and if you want to maintain that and you don't want to go down, we decided to just offer the Evo pump because yes, the capacity is a little bigger still, But the pressure rating of the 35 pump is less than factory.
Gotcha.
And I don't like shiny shit. So it has to be an upgrade.
Absolutely.
Bolt-on guys, I just want whatever. The intercooler and the downpipe and E85. That's what everybody did in the beginning.
Right.
We said, okay, don't even touch the rate pressure table, like the base desired rate pressure, just leave all factory and it's gonna be fine. And the Evo can handle that. The 35 just loses too much efficiency because the Explorer ST runs 200 bar all the time. And that's why we say we don't even sell a 35. We could, but you have to take the pressures down, you have to adjust.
So it's not sensible.
Yeah, it's the next thing with educating people.
Right.
Most of the tuners out there just think pressure. They don't understand the difference between flow capacity and pressure capacity. I can make, the pump can make 300 bar. It can make 300 bar, but it doesn't flow shit. You can't even make 100 horsepower. But it still maintains 300 bar. It just dumps everything.
Got it.
But on your sensor, you see 300 bar.
So you're in your mind, it looks great.
Yeah, oh man, 300 bar is so cool. And we have that with BMW people.
Right.
They're like, oh, 300 bar is so great. And no, it's not.
Right.
It hurts your injector actually, as you don't have the actual injector that can handle it. So this is an Evo, and so we talked about the adapters. This is actually a different kind of plug.
Right.
Yeah. So you got the hardware, you got the two bolts that bolt the high pressure pump to the base plate, and then the base plate to the actual engine. Was the same here. I forgot to mention that.
Now, for guys that haven't installed that before, how do you prefer them to install
So
it?
people would take the base plate with the O-ring, put it on. It squishes, it compresses the O-ring, and our very first O-ring design was meant to sit on the high pressure pump, to seal against the high pressure pump as well. It's like protecting the oil from coming out, the engine oil.
Yep.
But we would say, so don't just seal against the base plate. It was designed to seal against the base plate and the pump. It was a great seal, but had the downside that if people don't pay attention, they squish the O-ring, and then so when they take them apart, base plate first with the O-ring squishes to the inside because there's no pump. And then they put the pump on top of it. They force it through, and they fuck up the O-ring.
Right.
So we changed that design now. Pump, high pressure outlet, low pressure inlet, plug and play. So we reuse all the lines. You reuse factory high pressure line,
So
factory
full plug
feed
and play.
line. Yeah, this is the only thing. You bolt it in,
Yep.
everything plugs in.
And this is the Evo,
This is the Evo.
no
pump.
plus 35.
No.
And then the Evo is rated on the ST platform to about what?
So on the ST, we did. They never dynoed it, but you run 11 seconds with it.
Okay.
So in the beginning, when we did the first testing with that, we ran Whipple intercooler. That's the first one that came to market. Downpipes. So intercooler, downpipes, E85, and an Evo pump, and they ran 11 seconds.
I love it.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it.
And there is a misconception because we have these 25s now, 25%ers, where some people are saying, oh, it's just the 15s plus the 10
with
software.
the 10, right.
No, it's not. This is actual 25s, and the data are coming. I don't have them here right now. But so we did a second generation stage 1. So we tossed the 15s, and we do the 25s, and the 25s stay at the same price. So
Beautiful.
we have two 25s now for, I want to say $12.99 is what the retail was. So whatever the retail for the 15s was is now the retail for the 25s.
I like it.
And I have true 50s in the pipeline that actually work and that will actually be released. Injectors always got the caps, keep them clean, and then they come in a sealed bag with the stickers and everything. The only thing that's missing on this one, because I kind of rushed it to be honest,
No worries.
the data sheet. So usually there's a printed data sheet in here.
This shows what
with
you
the
tested
calibration
at the
data.
flow.
Yeah,
Right.
so it tells you what the spread is, and we do 3 points. So we do a point that references idle, and it's not an industry standard. That's something I came up with. So it's 0.8 milliseconds, 20 bar. That's my reference for idle, and it might not be what you run at idle, but
Right.
it's close. So I test those, and then I test 6 milliseconds, 200 bar, which is pretty much wide open throttle, what you run when you make a pass. And then 10 millisecond, 100 bar, which is the industry standard. So when you have a flow rating, whatever, it's 2000 cc injectors,
Right.
it's always rated at 100 bar. So 1450 psi. That's like the industry standard.
Gotcha. So you do the industry standard plus 2 of your
Right. I
standards.
do industry standard, and then I added one for idle because that's the biggest challenge for a high flow injector.
For drivability, for
Yes,
customers
yes,
sitting
right,
there and
right.
idling, and it's
Yep. All the surging drivability stuff, it's the slow cruising.
Right.
So we did that, and then the wide open, the 6200. That's for how much does it actually do for power, and that's also where it separates from competitors.
Right.
Because at 200 bar, that's where they start misfiring when they are not
Perfect.
perfect. Good word. And so we provide that, and then every set that we ship is rated to within 1% at the 1000 and the 6200, and then at idle we allow 4%, because idle within 1% is super difficult.
I'm sure.
But this one is.
Ah,
So this one is actually 0.000
No
at
way.
1000 and 0.2% at 6200, and I want to say 1.2% or so at idle.
Jeez.
So
Okay.
this should Ryan will see that.
I was about to ask,
So,
is
yeah.
Ryan usually
So
has
don't
this?
tell Ryan. He will
And
tell
let
you.
him tell
He was
us.
like, he
Right.
gave you good injectors. He's
Right.
gonna tell you. He's gonna
Yeah.
see it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then so it comes with a printed data sheet, and the people where you set it to shouldn't lose it. We can track them back, so the injectors
Serial
are all
number.
they're all engraved. So they're serialized. So I don't know if you can catch that number. Here. But by that number, they're all documented, so I can figure out what set that is. And we have an internal set ID. We don't engrave that, but we pretty much have a PDF of this data sheet.
Blister pack, ready to rock.
So
Protect.
DI, always keep it clean. The tolerances in those parts are so tight. The clearances are microns. I mean, I'm talking metric microns, not thousands of inches or so. I just told you that I test them at the industry standard 1000, at 6200, and at 0.820, so
Right.
milliseconds in bars. But we also test them higher to make sure they misfire. They don't misfire. So the Explorer STs, for example, they get tested at 100 bar, then at a 200 bar, then we go up to 250, run them there and hold them to make sure they don't misfire. And then we go back to 200, measure the flow again, and then we go back to the idle point 0.820. So we specify the flow numbers at 3 points, but we also make sure they don't misfire. If they misfire at 25, they don't pass.
Love
Go.
that.